Okay. How about now? Can you hear me now? Just let me know when you can hear me. I think I just fixed it. All right, great. Thank you. This is why I need more coffee in the morning so I don't hit the mute button. So anyway, problem solved. But let me start over. First, good morning. Second, let's just address what's going on here. Okay, this is not we're not over. We're not done yet. And there's a lot of, is the selling over? Okay, this was one day, and I'm going to just leave pre and post in this morning so we can just kind of compare where these levels are. Okay, you have to get over this level. All right, this 439.49. Now there's a shorter level out there where we closed the other day, and here's your open and here's your close, and that's great. But this has a lot of work to do, and this is very different. This move is very different than this move. Okay, it's much more powerful. And on all these moves, if you just look at this, okay, we never came down this far in the RSI. It just never happened. So to me, that's pretty glaring that this is a little bit more something like this. Okay, and I could expand this up so you can see it. But what you're looking at is, I'm looking at this for more of something like this on the S&P, okay, where this is going to be a 2, 3, 4 day event. I'd be shocked if this is over today. I've been wrong before, and I'm not saying that you can't make money on the long side. I'm just saying that you need to be really careful here. I would much rather have seen us. I would much rather have wanted us to break down and sell, right, and just flush everybody out. This did not flush everybody out. So I am my antenna's up a little bit here. So just be careful. That's really what I'm going with. I can go over the Qs very quickly. NIWM, same thing. Okay. All this is doing is going to the 50-day moving average this morning and rejecting. That's all we're doing. Okay. That's why this morning, for certain positions, if you're concerned about certain stocks, if you truly are concerned, then what you need to do is sell into the rallies. Don't hold and think you're going to break even on your trades that that got capped out on. Just sell. I would sell into any strength. IWM really needs to get above this 200-day moving average and close above it. So that's where I'm at. Do I think this is over? No. What you really need to see here, let me point this out as well so that you have some kind of guide. Okay. Every single VIX correction, when the VIX is done going up, which is the volatility, ends with a red bar. Ends when you spike up, and then you have a red bar and it comes back down. We don't have that. I have a green bar. Now, if today's a red bar and it goes lower low, that's great. That could be the bottom. But usually these red bars are over a previous green bar, as you can see, just by a little bit, and that cycles through as the end. in almost every single case. And we don't have that yet. So just keep that in mind, that there could be another wave to this. So that's pretty much it. So just start going. Yeah, I know. I need coffee. All right. So everyone's got it. Hey, fam. Thanks. All right. So SPSC, let's do it. Okay, so this is pretty interesting to me because yesterday was a really tough day. Very tough day. Okay. And this is actually flipping. And if you really look at it and when you zoom in on this, look at this. This bar actually completely encapsulated this other bar, giving me a bullish engulfing at the top of the trend, right? Like that's pretty rare. You usually don't see that. You'll see it here, like after a base, and then it'll go, right? And you can see how it respects that, how it's been respecting that, right? And that's really what you're looking for. You're looking for patterns like that can identify what you're saying. This is actually another pattern that, I'm going to do an advanced candlestick video. I've been working on it, but this is another pattern right here called Three Soldiers. And this thing's like coming off of this and going to here. The easiest way to explain it is I think this is going to go a lot higher. I think this is just starting, frankly, but let's go through a couple things so you can see what I'm saying on this. Why I posted it last night. You do have an issue here, right? With this trend line getting up to here, 156, 157. If you flip this thing's going to go up another level. And if you want to just see something clearly, I mean, this is what we've done on the monthly. It's just been stellar. So I think that there's room here for this to run. But the first level is going to be this 157. But I do like it. That's why I put it out there. Yeah, the markets could fade today very easily. You could fade today, Miguel. Is Twitter holding support? That was the question. So let's take a look here. So Twitter, to me, no, it's really not. It seems to me that there's some buying around here last time where people were very interested in owning it, but that's not overly exciting for me to be looking at and saying, hey, you need to be in this, or hey, you need to be involved here. I would not be going near this. I think Twitter has some real issues with growth and the way that they do business. I mean, a lot of people use it because there's nothing else. When there's something else, people are going to stop. That's my thought on it, but it's just so huge. It's just not going anywhere. But if you take a look here, you're having a hard time at this level, and you sure as heck are having a hard time here at 21 day. So I don't know that you're basing. I don't see it that way. I see a little rally here that failed and looks like it could come back down to 58. So I would not be in a big hurry here to be in that stock. Love. So Love, right? This is where you're at. This is what you've done. I mean, look, these levels are right here from that top 10 stocks, to buy list that we did on Saturday. I like it. I like the action that we're seeing in it. I think it's acting great. I'm just waiting for it to execute. And if it executes, I'll take a look at it for sure. No question about it. But I don't think you're there yet. I really don't. I definitely don't think you're there yet. But we're getting there. KMX. So you got above the level, and then you formed what? An evening star. You completed that evening star pattern and closed higher, but now you're just kind of sitting around here. I mean, I wouldn't be in a big hurry here to be jumping into this. And let me just throw this in. And go from there. Yeah, let me just close that out. And we can close that for now. So what you're seeing here is you're just seeing a level that I don't see a big reason to rush into here. You rejected it here. You're rejecting it here again. So who's ever here wants to sell. I mean, that's pretty clear. So good morning. NVIDIA, Myrna, Asan. So let's just go through NVIDIA. I mean, if you're asking from the community standpoint yesterday, I did it just simply as a trade. If you're in it this morning, I did it as a trade and basically said sell at the end of the day or move your stop to the break even where we got in. I'm still on the outside of the top of the bottom of this megaphone, right where it opened. And I don't really see a reason to do anything here. To me, this was a trade and something that you should be, if you're in where 207.5, I'm ringing the register this morning. I'm not hanging around and seeing if I'm 100% right. There's too many other stocks today that look like they could really run, frankly, for me to be playing with this and all this resistance up here. There's just no reason to be playing with it right now. So for me, it was just simply a trade, but it's not something I'd be rushing into. mRNA. So you're just wedging. You're forming this huge wedge line, and you've broken this one, and you keep bouncing off the 21 day, and hopefully that continues if you're long this. But right now you just have this huge bear flag under a wedge line. So there's no real rush there. For me, there's no rush. Asan, I love. I mean, this looks like it's just going to explode. I mean, we're in from the newsletter, and if you don't get the newsletter, there's a free copy that'll be put in the descriptions. If you just want to follow along, comes out once a week. But in regards to what we're seeing going on right now, I think that this is just setting up to explode. I really do. I think there's a couple names like that are setting up like that are just setting up to just absolutely rip. It's Janice. It's definitely a less risky buy. I'll just comment on it because I don't know who's in the community, who's not in the community. But here's what's interesting. Okay, here's your wedge. Here's your break. But what's interesting is that the market, when we were down less than the market yesterday, so that usually leads me to believe that we may be done. Right? It's possible that we might be putting in some kind of bottom here. And I'm not entirely sure on that. We're going to have to see. But, right in here, we only had one green day. So it's not a real ringing endorsement. But that said, I think it's something that we could look at. But it looks like it is slowing down to me. FNGU is a great way if you're trying to play the market, but you don't want to take individual stock risk. This is definitely one that you could use. The issue is that you're just below the 50-day and you tested the 20 or the 200 yesterday. Usually when you test the 200 on this, it holds, right? Might not hold right away, but it seems to hold it. So, I think if you sell off back down to this level, that would be interesting. I don't see any real reason to jump in here up this way. Up here, you're just in no man's land, right? So I don't see any real reason to jump into it there. JBT. Beyond Beam Technologies. Well, that's interesting. I don't know this. I don't know much about the company. Look, there's your level. Couldn't get over it. Let's zoom in on this. Bring this down. Okay. Couldn't get over this level, right? Got over it once, tried. Now you're over it twice. So if you can get up and above over this, you probably holds. And really all you're looking for is this. This is a thinner name, obviously. You can see by the amount of volume that it trades right here. But look at this. If I can get over 153, this could go. Let's see what's going on here. Let me just see this pattern right here. So, yeah, get over that 153 level and you could probably go. Is this, how far out does this thing go? Yeah, I like this. This could really work. I like it. Yeah, this could really work. I like how you've been forming this flag and now you're breaking out of it on the monthly. So this could absolutely go. You want to see more volume come in, but these little spikes are everything you really want to see for right now. But over time, you're going to see more. Tesla, Oscar, I like Tesla. I think it held well yesterday. I mean, look, my thought on Tesla is relatively simple. If you're not going to be taken down over, if you're not going to go down on NTSB coming after you and your biggest market having a financial crisis, what's going to take you down? I'm still waiting for it to break this wedge line and the top of this right up here. And it just is not doing it yet. But that said, look how you broke down, sliced, came back over. I think you're just going to hang in there. I really do. So I like it. I'm not really curious. If you're not looking for more than the trade, I don't think you buy it until you break this 765 now. But I do like the name, and I don't think it's going anywhere. Hey, Ro. UPWK. Yep, sure. UPWK. So you see how you're coming down here, right? Let me open this up. Here's your wedge line. Here's where you're trying to get above. It's your first level that you're trying to get above, 51.21. Kind of tried, not really. And now I got these little wicks. I don't see a real reason to do anything here. I mean, I would say it's good that it's above the 200-day, and it's great that this 21's pointing up, but we need this to start really shaping up here. And I'd be looking for it to get above 51.22 and for this seller to be cleaned out and make sure that they're out before getting involved again. And you have a lot of stuff in here. You have a lot of resistance points. Let's just see something. Yeah, I mean, this is good. This is good that you're above that point of control line and that you're sitting and resting right on it. And hopefully you can get back up to here at this 51 level. So, but overall, I think it looks, decent. WMG. $41.70. That was where you were looking for it to flip, and it did do that. That's exactly what you've been looking for. So 39.19, and then you broke out and you ran. Yeah, I like it. I think that could keep going. I'd like to see more volume. I'd like to see more volume on that, Raphael. CVAC. So, yeah, I wouldn't be going near this. I mean, you dropped on with some awful news, right? And then you've just been bouncing around ever since. I don't see. I mean, unless you're looking for fundamental news, I'm not really sure why you would want to be in this. Hi, Bob. I covered Asan already. If hopefully you saw it. If not, let me know, and I'll try to cycle back to it again. Yeah, I like the WMG. I could see why you're looking at that. I mean, that makes sense. What am I looking at? I'll just run through what I'm looking at. I mean, the biggest ones that I'm looking at, one, I'm looking at this. I think this is just going to rip. I mean, we're in this from $69 since the newsletter. I've been saying for a while, I think we have a double. If the market is not going to knock it off, I mean, a lot of high beta names got crushed yesterday. Okay, this one formed a hammer, right? So that clearly tells you what's going on here. There is massive underpinning of buying of this name. Okay, so that's exactly what you want to see. I mean, we didn't even have a red day. So that's pretty powerful to me. And I think that warrants taking a look at it here. So that's definitely on my list. For a quick trade, I'm looking at this today. I think if this gets over, this could really push. bros. And on the short side, I'm looking at this. I'm hoping that this can trade itself back up to like 620 or something. And then I can look at it from a short perspective. So there's three that I'm looking at. ZBRA looked like it kind of broke the other day, didn't it? So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of broken for now. Like, look, it's done this before where it's gotten to this level and then it's reversed and gone up. But this takes time. This could take weeks. Like, this is not something, you know, you have to realize the best trading markets usually are fourth quarter, right? And they're usually set up because September and October, for whatever reason, we sell down. We seem to be playing that out a little bit. I'm not so sure that this is just going to turn around and just rebound. I mean, this bar was clear, straight selling. This bar was clear, straight selling. So I just don't see that reasoning behind the rip and why we think we're just going to turn around and run. So I'd be careful there. Book, I covered Apple. Let me know if you saw it or not. I like Apple here. I think it's done going down personally. BGFV. Hey, Tom. So here you are at that 53.13 level, 33.14. Okay. I mean, there's not really much to say. You kind of came back up here again and failed, right? Maybe you hold this level, maybe, but the easy money on this trade's pretty much over. You know, this is not something I'd be running into now. PAYC and team. PAYC, I mean, look, let me move this out of the way for a minute so we can get rid of those numbers. Here's your wedge line. You broke your wedge line and you stayed above your 21 day and you keep riding it. Now, what you are doing is you are holding the support level, right? That support level is holding the whole way through. So that's good to see. For me, I want to see a rally probably up over this level before I got involved at this point, or at least a higher high, right? Maybe a higher, you know, if you don't want to wait till that, you should at least wait to this level right there, 489.42, and then take a look at it. In regards to team, you know, for me, this is one that I love. Oh, hold on. Yep, this is one I really like. I mean, we've been in this since 355. I don't see a reason to do anything with it. You know, I really don't. I like the name, and I think it's going to continue to work. This is a much better looking chart than PAYC if you're trying to figure out which one looks better. Hi, Sassy. You know, I actually think that if you were going to buy AMC, this is where you buy it, to be honest with you. So for me, looking at it, what I was getting at the other day, here, let me just blow this up real quick here so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. Here's your trend line. Okay. This is your trend line from up here, from before, right? So these trend lines really don't go away. If you kind of look at them, they kind of hang in there. Rejection, 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 flips it, bearish engulfing, flips it, goes, right? So, I mean, you kind of take that into account. And I'll say that again, like these trend lines, they just don't go away. So here you are again at the bottom of this trend line. Here's your 50-day, and you're holding in here. And now if I get rid of this, because I don't want to cloud this too much, but if you get rid of this, you can actually make an idea that there's an actual range right here and that you're at the low end of it. So I definitely would not be shorting this. To me, I actually think that it might be in a position where it's going to hold and then it might run. Like if I was interested in buying this, this is where I would be looking at buying it. You know, I'm not sure that that fades today. And again, you really need to hold above the 50-day. If you break that 50-day, that might be it. You might sell down. But last time you broke the 50-day, this is what you were dealing with. So just keep that in mind. SE. So in regards to SE, you broke down right through your 21 day. You came to 321. Okay. You didn't even test the 318, which clearly shows you that people out there that want to be in this name are buying this name. I mean, that's what it tells you. But you're forming some kind of wedge here now, right? So the easy trade is probably over as this forms. Let this form set itself up and give us an opportunity. That's what I would do now. I think you have there's too much going on in here to get involved right here. If you get back to that 317, 318 level, I mean, even down here, that's probably not the worst spot to buy it, because I don't think you're going to break 318. I just don't see it. You might not get that choice on SPSC. You might not get the opportunity. Usually when you see this kind of pattern here, show you this pattern. So usually when you see this kind of pattern like here, bullish engulfings don't just stop. They usually don't just stop. They usually go. And that's really what you're looking for here and what you want to see. It's just not usually over like that. So keep that in mind. I mean, to me, this maybe you bottomed, maybe, but you're below all your moving averages. So it's not something I'm willing to risk or jump into, Oscar. Hey, Jern. Bitcoin and Ethereum. So, I have my own opinion on these right now, but look, if you're looking for a trade, okay, if you're really just looking for some kind of trade with this, you're really looking for it to get above that level, okay? If that's what you're looking for, you need to at least get above that level before you even consider putting a trade on. So if I don't get above that, I wouldn't even entertain it. Now, that said, this break yesterday was pretty significant, and then you had follow through yesterday, which is pretty significant, right? Now you're bouncing today, and that's okay. That's great. But to me, this is really not shaping up very nicely. This is really looks to me like we're going to roll here. We're breaking the 200. The 21's pointing down. It's not pointing up anymore. It's pointing up here. Now we're pointing down. Okay, this is pointing down. This 200 is like, if you measured this line, these numbers are going down. So this is not a ringing endorsement by any stretch. But if you flip that, you could get up to here. And then, I think that you have more downside in the short term on this personally. But we'll see. In regards to Ethereum, same thing. This actually looks a lot better than Bitcoin, solely because look at your moving averages. Your 50 days or your 200 days pointing straight up. This is still pointing up, your 50-day, and this is kind of curving and showing you where your issues are. But look at what's going on, right? So maybe you hold here, but if I had to pick which one I am interested in, it's definitely this one. And flipping that level, you could probably get to the top of here. But I don't see you breaking out and going anywhere substantive right now. I just don't see it. So let's just say. So I like Team. I don't know that I'm adding it up here. I mean, I have a decent position on, and we'll go from there. Good morning. So I don't know that I'm adding to that here. What do you think about SYBX? Let's take a look. SYBX. So I usually don't play these little stocks like this. I try to avoid them. To me, I'd be very apprehensive anything that has like wicks like this, because it's very clear that they're just pumping it up and then they're getting out of the way. I don't know if you're looking for information, like if you're waiting for a fundamental event, but I mean that there's clearly a level, right? Here's your inverted hammer, or your hammer. I shouldn't say it's inverted. It's just a hammer. And you couldn't get over it. Now look at this level. I mean, just draw that level straight across, right? And now you can see like you really only had one time where you actually stayed over the level I'm showing you. So that would be a level that I would watch to make sure that I'm up and over before I got involved. Hey, Shane. LCID. Yeah. I mean, I commented on this yesterday. I'm not crazy about the company. It doesn't really matter what I think, right? It matters what happens. So to me, looking at this, this is when the insiders sold. And, we opened, and then, this is what you were dealing with. But this also has pre-market stuff in it, right? And I'm not going to change it out. But the bottom line was, we're for whatever reason, there's an enormous short position in this, okay? And it's a crowded short. So until this rolls and shows some weakness, shorts are going to panic and they're going to continue to buy this. Now, if that's the case, why do you want to be in it, right? So, I mean, you don't really want to be shorting it, but I'd be careful here. I mean, look, the way we're crossing here, the way you cross the 50-day and you're staying above the 50-day and you're staying above the 200, could this go? Yeah, this could get up to $29. Yeah, this could go. Absolutely. Is there fundamental reasons behind that? No. But you could squeeze to that level. Absolutely. There's no question about it. And it could be fast. I mean, these are pretty long bars with percentages. Like, this is what, 20 to 23, 15%. 25 to 2.5 points puts you at 27.5, right? So you can kind of get, like, if I have another 10, 15% move, I'm up here fairly quickly. So AZN and CBIO. AZN. Oh. Yep. I mean, there's your level. That's what you're looking for it to break. That's what you need to have happen there, Shane. CBIO, look, you get right to that level and you keep rejecting over and over again. I mean, what level are you looking for? And then at this point, I wouldn't even wait for this. I'd be waiting for this. At that point, I mean, I don't need that first 15 cents. So that's how I would look at it. I think that the open, Larry, is going to tell you everything you need to know about today. I was pretty clear, that I think that you really have to watch the open today, and that, to me, I would rather have gapped down and flushed everybody out. I don't like opening like this. That it's bothersome to me. So it's very bothersome to me. I would rather just open down, flush out. To me, this just means that we're just going to open. People are going to get excited. Some names are going to move today and work. Other names are not going to work today. And that you're going to see a lot of failed breakouts again, in my opinion. And you're going to see people chasing stuff because they think the bottom's in. So it's going to be a pretty ugly day for some people. Yeah, hold on 1 second here, Life. Let's take a look, Terry. So, yeah, I mean, that could go. You have a lot of volume in here. So this could go. I mean, here's your big level. Look. That's really what you want to see. Get above that level, and then you could start seeing how you're going to act. But that's really your first spot. And then you can start seeing how you're going to act with the other levels and how that's going to go. But that's your first area that you have to look at. You're welcome, buddy. Yeah, the volume's not going to come in right now. It's going to take a little bit of time. BRKS, let's take a look here. I mean, it broke out. It's exactly what you wanted to see. I think we have this in one of our, I forget which one, but I have this lined up somewhere. I like the breakout, and it's pretty substantial. Look at that volume. So sorry about that, but I like this and I like the volume. I think the volume's pretty substantive that came in. I mean, this is what you want to see. These are the kinds of moves you want to have. You know, I don't think you chase it. I think if you wanted to do another trade on it, you have to get above that and then just move the stop up and make sure you stay in it. But other than that, I wouldn't do anything else with it. Yeah, I mean, if they announced an offering, it's going to get absolutely hit on that. And then what I would do with that is if they announce an offering, you can't really go near it until that offering is over, right? Like you just don't want to be involved in that offering until it settles in and it's done. So let's just keep going here. I mean, you should hold. Hopefully, you hold this level. Did they price that yet? I haven't gone through all my news yet. Let me know if they priced that. They probably didn't. They probably just announced it. NAK, sure. So this is not something that obviously that I'm going to buy and look at. You know, I don't play with these little guys because they're very easy to manipulate. But what I will say is that it's pretty clear what's going on. You need to get above that 200-day moving average. Hey, Root. UPST, Asan, I think that you could just look at it right over a certain level. I mean, you know, to me, Asan just making the higher high is huge. You know, and the volume yesterday and the way it acted. I mean, I don't know that you're going to see anything act better, right? I mean, that acted great to me. UPST, you know, again, I don't know who's in the community with the name change on here, but I mean, UPST, I had a trade on yesterday. We took 11 points out of it. It was a day trade, and that was it. Am I buying that up here? Not really. I mean, if I really wanted to buy this again, I mean, look, I have a huge rally, right? And then what is this bar? For those that watch that candlestick video, right? What is this bar? Okay. We know what this bar is, right? This bar is a long-legged doji. What's that signify? It signifies uncertainty. I'm not really crazy to do anything on a long-legged doji until it resolves itself. So, I mean, unless you're looking for a trade, you need to see over 304 before you do anything. That's just my opinion. So there is, Ethan, this is it. So GBTC is the equivalent. And then there's this one too. And you just have to take a look at their NAVs to see what the premiums are. And then this Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano, I believe. But Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think, make over 90% of it. So, but there are two that you can look at. Sure. Amazon and Melly. Yep, let's keep going here. Amazon. So to me, Amazon, relatively simple. You're rallying up here. Here's your 50-day. And now you're just kind of wedged in here. Again, I don't see sense of doing anything. I mean, it was pretty clear where I thought you were going to go yesterday, and you went right to it. You went right to the 200 you tested. Doesn't mean it's over, right? It just means that that's what's happened. So I'm not a buyer there, like at all. I would sit, watch, and wait. It's not something that I would do. I'd really watch that. So Melly. So Melly, look, you're below your 200-day and you broke. You kind of have a wedge line right here, and you're on some levels of support. You just need to see if it holds there. This is why it's so important for everyone to leave in their support lines so that when they hit right down the line, you can see them. It's so important to do that because you can make a quick decision. You could have looked at this yesterday and said, I'm willing to buy this here. And if it breaks the 50, I'll sell it, right? And you had a trade. It was a nice trade. So it's really important to do that. Love Affirm. So Love's got to get through 69.52, 70.44. And Affirm, hold on 1 second here. Yeah, I mean, like, look, I'd be a little concerned here until that resolves itself. See, I don't like, this is what I don't like. See how you're on this bar, right? And these bars aren't really there, right? Because of this, but they're there, right? For our purposes. See how you break out and then you stay at the top end of this bar? See how you broke out and you're not staying at the top end of this bar? And this is with pre and post data. That's concerning to me because you should be breaking out, forming this flag and going. And that's not what's happening. You're starting to get tired. Okay. Every rally is met by being tired. So you have a wedge line here. I'd watch that wedge line. If I was in this, 105 was the level I gave earlier. I mean, worst case scenario with the pre and post 102.50, and I'd be gone. So space, there's some issues there, right? He's got some real problems. So the FAA grounded them and are investigating them and told them to delay their flight, saying that their last flight was way off course. So, let's see what happens with it. But no, this is not something I'd be rushing into. I think you have to look at Tesla, and as the market goes, is how Tesla is going to go, right? So I'm not so sure what happens today with this. My hope is that it stays above 730. I don't really see any reason to consider day trading it. There's just too much stuff all around in here for me to want to be in here for a day trade. Z breaking alpha double bottom. Let's take a look. So to me, Zillow, no. I don't see a double bottom. So for a double bottom, what you need to do is you need to undercut this. And you didn't really do that. You kind of did, but not really. So you need to flush out and then go. So no, and I'm not even above this other higher high, 102.5. So you'd want to at least be above 102.5 before you consider looking at that. Dash, hey, Daryl. So, I mean, you're forming a flag. It's kind of crazy to me that this stock's done this, but this is what it's doing. It broke out finally here, right out of this base right here. And since then, it's just been on a tear. Now you're forming a flag up here. It looks great, from that standpoint. You can see your level, 226.47, right? Look where you stopped. So what does that mean? Well, it means I've got some wedges up here that I'm kind of concerned about, and I ran into a resistance area. What else could we look at? We could look at that there's a long-legged doji sitting right here that closed on the lower end, and it rejected this level again. Okay, so these signify what? Uncertainty. So understanding that would lead me to believe that I don't want to do anything here on the long side until this resolves itself, which is 226.57. That's what I would look for. And that's why I would look for that. Hopefully that's helpful. And that's something you could use for other times. UPST I covered, Naresh. Hopefully you saw it. If not, let me know and I'll do it real quick. Yeah, I actually think it's time for more coffee. I think we're heading in the round 3 right now, buddy. RKLY. RKLY. I wouldn't go near this. I don't know why it's doing what it's doing, but it just really looks like it's being manipulated. All these wicks can't get over these levels. So I would just watch that. Okay, they just announced it. Yeah, you need to avoid that. But what that does for us on that is that gives us an opportunity So what I would do is I would wait and watch and see how they price it and then go from there. Let's take a look at something. Yeah. So I remember I walked everyone through that trade that you could do, when they announced secondaries. I mean, there it is. For those that heard that talk. But there's that trade. I mean, it doesn't get any cleaner than that. Once that news hits, that was it. Boom. It's really important to pay attention to things like that. It's pretty much very easy trades. Morning, Brett. So these Restoration Hardwares I just saw a new one. I mean, it's a heck of a store now. Yeah, I could see this. I mean, here's why I could see this. You see this wedge line? Like, remember how we left this wedge line in right here from before when we broke out and gave it a trade and gave it a shot? You're reversing here. So get above this higher high, and yeah, you could push. I don't concern myself too much with the 21, these moving averages. And the reason right now is that I don't is because we're basing. And when you're in a trendless market, it really doesn't matter to me what they do. You could see that you could just really give a hoot about it. So, hey, Mohammed, Qualcomm. So, I mean, you kind of fell off a cliff here. It's not something I would be looking at. It's something I would be avoiding, to say the least. And I would watch and wait here, but it's not something that I would be avoiding. That I would be avoiding. So just FYI, think about it that way. I would be avoiding it. Let it settle in, I guess, is the best way to say it. Imran. Honestly, I like that because it's a pretty clean move, right? So, yeah, is this going to change? Probably not, right? But that said, get me above that 23.85 and we're in good shape. So 23.85 is what I'd be looking for. All right, let's just keep going here. Where's the stop if we enter above 119? Boca, I need to see a pattern of some kind before I can really call that out. I mean, worst case, if you enter, worst case without me seeing the open and looking and reading like a 1 or a 5 or 15-minute chart, worst case, your close was 118.90. You really would not want to go below 118.5, I call it. Okay. That's really my thought on it. You want up and in. So I would not risk more than $1, $1.50 in this market off of trades like that, Boca. I just wouldn't do it. The market's too tough right now. Hey, Lucas. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. It's not something I'm really that interested in. Right? You need to reverse here off of these levels and break out through this and push. That's your big level there. I don't see much to do there, Lucas. I need this to come down or start taking out highs, but you're in no man's land now. Now, I know a lot of people that are playing this name look at that 8-day, and that's fine. I mean, use it if you want to use it. It's definitely strong that you're above that, but I just don't have anything that is telling me that this is going to keep going. And because of that, it's just not something I'd want to be involved with. MRVI. So let's take a look at MRVI, see what's going on there today. So, yeah, I mean, you just completely broke down. So, I mean, you have this huge H now. I wouldn't go near this. Maybe this holds, right? And you get a higher high off of something like this. Maybe you get a push. like a reversal off an H failure, but you need to see that happen before you would execute on that. LCID I did. Let me know if you saw it or not. Sometimes I'm behind on these lists. I would enter and just get stopped out. I mean, if I get stopped out, like Miguel, I don't care that I get stopped out. I don't know how to express it any cleaner. Like, I just really don't care. I know a lot of people are like very risk adverse. I just don't, I can't say it enough. I really don't care. I'll just go do another trade. I'm not going to get stopped out of all of them. I already know that. I've been doing it long enough to know that. So if I do it and I get stopped out, I get stopped out. For me, the way that I look at it is, if it goes, I want to be in it. Okay. And that just means that the way that I trade, maybe it has a little more risk associated with it. It's not for everybody. You held up well, but because it's so washed out. Oh, you're welcome, buddy. Qualcomm? No, we did Did we do Qualcomm? Yeah, we did. I'm watching Disc B today. Let's see where it settles. Let's see. I don't know. Disc B. So that's an interesting move. So did they find, was it 20 points, 21 points in a day? Wow. That's interesting. Nothing there though, huh? Nothing on Series A. I wonder what the difference is. I haven't followed the story. Something changed. I mean, 20 points is a big move. So I don't know if there was news or something, but something's going on with it. Yeah, that was Cup 3. CTRM. I mean, I wouldn't go near this, buddy. Honestly, I wouldn't even waste my time. You tried to rally, you couldn't. Unless you know of some news coming out or something. Other than that, you need to be above 288. Hold on, let me give you an exact number. I mean, I really wouldn't waste my time with it. It's Maritime. Are we a shipping company? I can give you other shippers to look at. 288 is really what you need to see before you even consider it. So, all right, everybody, that's it. I'm out of here. If you need me, email me as always. Some people don't want to talk about everything they're going through on here, and I understand that. Just email me if you think I could be of help. And everybody have a great day. Let's get some.